Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer made good on his promise yesterday, filing cloture on a bill that would make Roe v. Wade law. This is to codify this court decision of 50 years ago. Now, a vote on the motion is expected during Wednesday's session, with 60 votes needed to advance to debate on the bill. The effort is expected to fail. It failed earlier, but Senator Schumer wants to make clear to American people where senators stand on the issue of abortion, and not just abortion. I mean, this is not just about abortion, but really abortion through all 9 months of pregnancy.
The vote will shine light on every single one of us. It'll be like a floodlight, and we'll each have to make our position clear. The consequences of this vote will stay with us for the rest of our time in office. The nation will be watching.
Yes, Senator Schumer, the nation will be watching, and the results will stay with you for the rest of your time in office. Well, joining me now to talk about this and more is one senator who made his position crystal clear, Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri. He serves on 4 Senate committees, including the Judiciary Committee and the Committee on Homeland Security, as well as Governmental Affairs. Senator Hawley, welcome back to the program.
Thanks so much for having me.
So what do you think about the Democrats, again, pushing for this vote on a bill that they know they will pass? They don't even have their full delegation, their whole caucus behind this.
Here's what I think, Tony. I think that this, number one, shows you just how extreme today's Democrat leaders have become. This is a bill that would undo partial birth abortion bans in many states, including the state of Missouri. That tells you how extreme this bill is, number one. Number two, this is really another attempt to pressure the Supreme Court to change their decision in this abortion case. You're right, Schumer knows that this will fail. It's going nowhere. But what he wants to do is he wants to continue to gin up public pressure, which we've seen erupt into violence. We've seen erupt into harassment, into threats against the justices, and he's trying to foster that. He's trying to feed it, and it's very wrong.
But Senator, I think when you look at these actions that they're now having to admit that Roe v. Wade is not the law of the land. It's been imposed upon us by the court. And so this is why we have all this talk of codifying it into law and making it a statute. But they can't muster the support to actually do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure that they could do it constitutionally, even if they had the votes, Tony, because the Supreme Court has been clear. Congress doesn't get to make up constitutional rights. I mean, Congress can't say that, actually, I think that there is a constitutional right to an abortion that we're going to impose on the entire country. And that's what they're trying to do here. They're trying to impose their view on abortion on the entire country. Don't let anybody else speak. Don't let anybody else have a view. Of course, certainly don't let the unborn have any voice in this process. So I'm not even sure that the Constitution permits them to do that were the Supreme Court to strike down Roe versus Wade. And let's just say that that decision cannot come soon enough, Tony. Yeah. I wish the court would just announce it now, because every day that it waits, more pressure and, frankly, more danger builds from the left. I am worried about what these extremists are going to do. I just hope. Already we've seen violence. I am very fearful that someone's going to get hurt.
Senator Hawley, let me ask you about that. How has the DOJ responded to these protests outside houses of conservative Supreme Court justices and churches and even care pregnancy centers compared to the concern they had over parents showing up at school board meetings?
Yeah, they've done nothing. I mean, they're too focused, as you say, Tony, on making sure parents are treated like domestic terrorists if they want to voice their opinion at a school board meeting. But, meanwhile, firebombing pro-life offices, harassing members at parishioners at church services, and worse than that, attacking churches. We've seen acts of vandalism on church property in churches across the country. And can I just say that going to Supreme Court justices' homes, besides being really morally, pretty low, is also a federal crime. The federal law says you cannot picket or otherwise harass a justice to try to change their opinion in the case. That's exactly what these people are doing. I mean, listen, if they want to protest, fine. Go to the Supreme Court. You can protest there. But going to their homes and picketing them and harassing them, it's just wrong. And I say again, the fact that Biden won't condemn this, the fact that he won't tell his people to stop with this violence like the firebombing, it's dangerous, Tony, and he's going to own a lot of the responsibility here.
Well, it certainly seems like there's a double standard when it comes to the left versus conservatives when they express their First Amendment rights. I'm going to switch gears, Senator.
Sure.
You introduced a new bill, to strip woke corporations like Disney of special copyright protections. Tell our viewers about that.
Well, Disney went to Congress some years ago, Tony, and asked for a special deal to protect their copyrights on Mickey Mouse and on other of their animated films. And I just don't know why Disney, who, by the way, now says that a lot of its own films are racist. They put warnings on them, and yet they want to keep their special copyrights on them and make a bunch of money off of consumers charging higher prices. I don't know why Disney should get special deals from the federal government. I don't know why a company that now apologizes for America, that apologizes for its own work over the years, and that attacks the values of this country, I don't know why they should get these special handouts. So what my bill would do is end the special handouts. Disney should get treated like everybody else. Their copyright protections that they were given that were special years ago should now expire. They should be ended, and Disney should go back to having to compete on a level playing field.
Senator, final question for you. We're almost out of time here, but I think at the 30,000-foot view, you made a statement which I wholeheartedly agree with, and that is the age of Republican handouts to big business is over.
Yeah, it is important, Tony, that Republicans are clear and conservatives are clear that big business, first of all, should never have any claim. Big business shouldn't be treated any differently than a mom and pop shop in the town where I grew up, in the place where you grew up, number one, as a matter of principle. Number two, if you're going to sell out this country, if you're going to attack the values of most Americans, if you're going to attack the American family, if you're going to ship our jobs overseas and deny us work, why would we reward you for that? Right. Why would they get special treatment? I'm against that. And I think it's time that we made it really clear where we stand.
I think it is past time, and I am so glad to see more and more Republican leaders coming to that understanding and doing something about it. And I know you've been leading on that for quite some time. Senator Josh Hawley, always great to talk with you. Thanks so much for calling in today.
Thanks for having me.